Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is 5 minutes to 9 o'clock on Thursday, the 10th of January. Now I'm here with you live, discussing breaking the cycle of political Mamaguay. This has been a tough political week. This has been a political week when we have had to be very, very clear with both the PNM and the UNC of our political intentions. The Progressive Empowerment Party is, of course, a real and separate and apart political vehicle from anything that you've ever had before. We have to deal with, a lot of the times, we have to deal with other people who are standing on the sideline, who have a problem with the straight up language that we use. A friend of mine told me when I said that we celebrated our second anniversary and for 2 years we've not been able to get on Hema show. And my friend told me that how I speak about Hema, she called it cyberbullying. But I want her to know, and this is for her and everybody else looking on, I have always been politically active. My whole life I've been politically active. When I was 10 years old, I was stuffing mailboxes for the ONR. When I was 18 years old, I was waving a flag for the NAR victory on top of Rough and Dare Street in Port of Spain. When I became a father, I stopped all politics. I had to be a full-time dad. And when my son grew to a point where he didn't need my full-time attention as much as he did, I came back out and a lot more vocal. That time was 2010. The UNC had just demolished the PNM as the People's Partnership. There was nothing left. Manning had gotten chased out of Balize House. They stoned him with rotten mango. The people in Balize Street cuss and cry, and they carry on. The UNC/People's Partnership was the government, and nobody wanted to hear anything that the PNM was saying. It was so bad that within 1 month, July 25th, I think it was March 24, 2010, they won on May. 1 month later, July 25th, they called local government elections, beat them again, beat them worse. PNM almost didn't exist in the local government. And the only voice that was standing for the people was Philip Edward Alexander. Philip Edward Alexander. I was just posting my posts on social media, but all of the media, all of them, and now at that point in time, I have to admit, having not been inside the political parties, I was a little bit naive. And I didn't understand that a lot of the people that I thought were just outside there like me, fighting for country, all the Rhoda Barretts and the Marcia Brave Boys, and all the Hema Ramkissoons. I thought all of these people, all of them, were here for country too. I thought that. I thought Paulo Kernahan and Shelley Das and I can't remember this girl's name because a lot of them were Philip followers, and I have my screenshots. And I have Rhoda Barrett saying of Philip Alexander, he is the most potent voice in politics of the day. I mean, all of them. The editors of newspapers. I could have gotten, I am in nobody's political party, but I am on CNC3 Morning Edition and TV6 and TTT more than anybody else. To the point where my voice and what I was saying was so sought after, the Mirror asked me to do a column. I was the only journalist, I'm saying all of this here, I was the only journalist in the Mirror's history that was doing a column on the weekday and the weekend version. And they were selling that Mirror on my column. It was so sought after that I was given a radio show Monday to Friday from 6 in the morning till 10 in 4 hours every day. And it still wasn't enough. They gave me a Sunday morning show too, 9 to noon. I was everywhere. I was king of all media. We was working out a show on TV6, me and Dominic Calipers. I still have the email. You see, I have the WhatsApps and the texts from Maxi Coffee when he tell me, Phil, we can't do nothing with you. You run against the political leader. When Dominic Calipers had said to me that because I exposed Ken Gordon for meeting with Keith Rowley surreptitiously over email gate, that they can't do no business with me. The day that I stepped away and demonstrated my independence from both the PNM and the UNC, a lot of these former friends became foes. So when people see the fight, when you reach the fight at this stage of the fight, you know, I'll never forget I see two little boys fighting in town, and I separated two of them and one went running. And somebody tell me, the one that went running, thief the phone from this one, he was fighting for his phone. I make up my mind after that, I ain't part of no fight until I know what's going on. Plenty of y'all jumping in the fight and not understanding why I say the things I say about some of these people. You see, for Hema Ramkisoon and Nicholas Sabga to bar me from CNC3 is actually a violation of the terms of their broadcast license. The broadcast license that CNC3 uses tomorrow, right now, but tomorrow morning for Hema Ramkisoon show, the broadcast license that CNC3 uses belongs to me. It belongs to you. It belongs to all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Without my broadcast license, all it is Hema and Nicholas Sabga and a big Guardian building in town. Nothing to do. They need we Trinbagonians broadcast license. And if they are violating the spirit of the broadcast license, the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago is supposed to write them and say, listen to me. Before we even reach freedom of the press in our Constitution's rights enshrined, there is freedom of political expression and the right to political choice. If you are barring one political party, you have to bar all. When Governor Brown was fired in California and Arnold Schwarzenegger was running for governor, the Federal Communications, the FCC, sent out a document to all TV stations, all cable companies that told them either respect equal time or go dark. You could lose your license. And in the United States of America, campaign finance, they have little fake profiles that Bastio, Pande, and Michaela have all over Facebook talking us the shit about campaign finance reform. But they can't enunciate what they think campaign finance reform mean yet. In the media in the United States of America, there's something called equal time. If you give me an hour, you have to give my opponent an hour, or it would have been an unfair advantage to me. Likewise, when Hema has groom a man on TV, when Catman gets to go on CNC3, because if Philip Alexander calling him a jackass and him calling the opposition leader a cat and talking about grooming all the females in Trinidad's pastures because their pastures will go to what? Anyway, forget this jackass. But when you say that you don't want me on your show because of how I speak, but you let him on regardless of how he speaks, that is a violation of that spirit of the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We can't fight every fight. We can't afford to. A lot of these people who sitting on the sidelines having their political choice violated, that commenting that if I get angry and I say something, they want to tell me, they want to pull me up. But I want you all to hear me clear. I'm not in this fight for shits and giggles. This is not a jelly bean game. I watched the Congress of the People lose sight of the mission. The Congress of the People that got 157,000 votes in 2007 lost their way. How? Trying to please everybody. There are too many criminals in society. They have a show called Planting Seeds on TV. Planting Seeds is sponsored and run on, I think, TV6 or CNC3. Go and watch all the people on Planting Seeds and ask yourself how they get what they have in life. This is Trinidad and Tobago. You cannot assume every skin teeth is a smile. And you can't assume that everybody who is your friend now because you're on this side of the divide is your friend tomorrow. Everybody holding their own corner in this country at that level. They are hypocrites in the extreme. I found a song today because there is something in Trinidad and Tobago called the Equal Opportunities Commission. Racism is a crime. the PNM that sponsors TUCO, Trinidad Unified Calypsonian Association, is a PNM party group. They take state funds. This is a criminal act. What I'm about to play for you is Crocro, TUCO, the government and the state engaged in a conspiracy of racism that is a criminal act. Listen to this. Listen. Broadcast on the national television, rebroadcasted over and over on the national television. Listen.
Black man heart is hard like stone, cause it's black man who make black man groan. Cause black man never like his own. That's why this last election, Crocro grieving. Look at how all you treat Patrick Manning. The way all you cuss him, run him and tell him go. I never see the Indian street bastard bandit so. When bandit thief and McNichol switch from the tail. Indians with them they candle like Richard by the jail. So on behalf of all the good niggas that I know, well, you should never ever treat me somebody so. Shame on you, Dada. Errol McLeod and El Rum Cock and Obi Cap. The way all you destroy the black brother. You are for prostitutes of black power. Look at how all you get weak. McLeod I know choking him, he could hardly speak. I'm so disappointed in you, black man. All you said that late was African. All you ever has shame. Give back the African man his name. You get a big white police commissioner. Where are the advocates of black power?
In one verse, one chorus, he disrespect white people, black people, and Indian people. He called them nigger, jackass, lick bottom African, prostitutes of black power, and the opposition leader and the PNM said, don't be clapping.
Massive cosign here all around Pata and with each eye. They never see them put tears in basket and they act to the first to Oscar B and crazy. You must understand. All of them is lick bottom African. All you sell we out. Look at all you have that people suffer it all about. I'm waiting for all you for emancipation. Hypocrisy, weak lying, lick bottom African.
You see, I just want to expose the hypocrites. Because when Hema bring Johnny Sukaran on she show, she don't ask Johnny about the PNM and TUCO, and if this is a crime, Johnny is the AG. Listen.
Choki did vex with Valley, but Choki should apologize publicly, cause it's hypocrite that she killed. Valley was right to call all you mook, cause no woman who wears an ovary voted against the UNC, but Hazel Brown, which she had a rapper on the current platform, voting fuck up. How come Choki never ever sing about this? No songs about this separate abortionists, but he make Eric Williams Chambers and Patrick Grieve. Any black government pound them till they leave. For 20 years, Patrick was the boss of the land. He lost and went back to his humble home in Copoland. But in 6 months, damn that show you won Mako Bongolo. Well, you should never ever treat me somebody so.
Yeah, where you go?
Here's for brown. Look how you have that woman head dragging on the ground. If Rosa Parks was alive here, where she a do? Can you in the back at the bus and stand up pinch you? So, on you brown eyes frown, give back the African, they head up and gone. I'm so disappointed in you, woman. Another little bottom African. All your hair has shame. On this note, I must call Bona Centro's name. This class, all you ain't got. Remember Jesus Christ talk about harlots and sluts. Take example from the Indian people. They They still have Basque Pandy on a paper cut. So Cleveland Raphael, Andy Johnson and sprung along. All of them is late but I'm African. All you sell we out. Look how all you have people crying all over South and waiting for all you for emancipation. Hypocrite, lying, late but I'm African.
Ask Faris Al-Rawi, ask Kid Rowley, ask Dr. Prince, who running TATT, ask the Equal Opportunities Commission. Get yourself a copy of the Constitution. Tell my haters and detractors, comment on this.
People feel that he should swing. They even free partner Shama and still want to destroy Abu Bakr. In a taxi, I hear a man say, Ishan, them ain't going away. But if it was a little black boy from Lavanti, he would have been on the plane already. And how come I ain't hearing anybody? Why they do protest like 1970? Where is Kafra?
Why they ain't protest like 1970? You know what he just called for? He just called for in a calypso at the Dimash Grand Show of 2011, broadcast live on TTT, what was then called CNMG, C News, or what the hell the name was. He just called for civil uprising in this song.
He so-called that culture, they even free partner Shana and still want to destroy Abu Bakr. And in a taxi, I hear a man say, Ishan, them ain't going away. But if it was a little black boy from Lavanti, he would have been on the plane already. And how come I ain't hearing anybody? Why they do protest like 1970? Where is Kafra Kambon and Orogome? He so-called that conscious men had nothing to say. When I see Macron and them, I just feel to cry. Macron wearing shrimpy suit with jacket and tie, forget wrong New Jersey, and now they're in tuxedo. Oh, you should never ever treat me somebody.
You're ready, yeah?
Is a set of fake for a couple $1,000 or the king won't break. Dr. Fido Black always used to tell me that the black man is the black man's worst enemy. Ram Kipalani run the country. The driver can't drive when it was Robbie. I'm so disappointed in you, black man. Your white-bearded late but I'm African. All your hair has shame. Get back the African man his name. You should be complaining to him, should be off the scene. You want to go up Lavanti and build a stream. You find that the poor must sit in the cold and Kamala could sit by remote control. And so disappointed in you, black man. All you said that late but I'm African. All you said we out. Look how all your people suffer all about. And even here Tobago have their own champion. I was that late but I'm African.
We're going to stop there. There are about 2 more verses and chorus to come. But I think the point is made. The hypocrisy, the deviancy of this society, the media, the government, state offices corrupted to the core. And Philip Edward Alexander and the Progressive Empowerment Party is the only voice the people have. The only voice the people have, because tomorrow, that giggling jackass on CNC3 will have people come on that show to bullshit this country. Where are we this today, tonight, tomorrow morning with the license officer and the license sticker? That push aside. What is the new distraction? We talking port. We tell you all, Trinidad and Tobago, wake to hell up. Port and shipping is the biggest business in the world. Port and shipping is the biggest business in the world. Let me say it one more time. Port and shipping is the biggest business in the world. Singapore is a quarter the size of Trinidad and Tobago. Singapore has moved more containers in an hour than we've moved in 5 years. Singapore is a first world developed nation on shipping. Dubai, don't touch their oil money. Dubai is a first world developed nation on shipping. Shipping is a growth pole, a growth industry. Shipping will forever be a massive economy boosting industry driving, or you need your ports. You know what they're talking about right now? They're talking about port losing money. Now we have a conversation. You know that conversation going and go? Sell it to Sabga. That's how the conversation going and go. Like they send Emil Elias to loot TSTT. How you looting TSTT? take $155 million and buy a bullshit flip-flop company from Massey that don't exist. Massey run cable in front 300 people's house and call all 300 customers and sell that flip-flop, that used toilet paper to TSTT for $155 million. When the people ask a question, Emil Rowley financier, Emil Elias say he don't answer to nobody. So where that money gone? And in 6 months, that TSTT fall down. TSTT fall down. First thing they do is separate the mobile billing centers, give it to their partners to make the commissions. All the security companies that existed in all the state organizations, TSTT, TNTech, all that suck into Amalgamated, so Amalgamated can apply a level of profit on top of that thing up, then boom, boom, boom. All they're distracted with bullshit. And that's the problem in this country. Because you don't want to talk straight and you don't want to talk real. We want to get distracted by foolishness, and I have no time with that. You shouldn't either. You shouldn't either. Tomorrow morning on Hema show, bullshit will be taking place again. And that is propaganda. So when I ask, how come 2 years the Progressive Empowerment Party in government existing, and you can't give, that was a Freudian slip for the future. Accept that in grace and faith. But we here 2 years, our second anniversary, you can't give us an interview yet. You don't like Philip Alexander, blank Philip. They have plenty people in the PEP, but they used to say it's a one-man show. No problem. Don't bring the one man. Bring the PRO, Janice Lemon Creaky. Bring the chairman of the party, Felicia Holder. We have people. We have deputy political leaders, Anthony Defoe and Lema McLeod Wilkinson. Pick and choose who you want. But don't bullshit the people. And don't say it's about me. And I'll bring the fight to you. We will talk this. We will talk this. A whole setup. How Crocro so fortunate that he could talk such reprehensible, divisive, nation-breaking filth, and not the government, not the opposition, not the television station, not the telecommunications authority, not the Equal Opportunities Commission. Nobody talk about it. Nobody. We say, move the port to Point Lisas. It don't belong in Port of Spain. It is called the Port of Spain, and it makes no sense. 99% of every ship coming off that port leaving town, causing traffic at Colville Street, at Independence Square, at South Key, going down the road causing traffic. Why? Why so much overland shipping? Why so much trucking? Why so much carbon emissions? When all you have to do is take the shipping containers to Point Lisas. And Trinidad and Tobago, do not let them sell your port. Trinidad and Tobago, Petrotrin ain't gone yet. All your lapsing. We making a mockery. Today I watch, today I want to talk about some of these things, boy, but I've just been giving life to some dead asses, so I'm going to leave it alone. We again had the conversation. How much, and we want you to understand this in your belly. 1 million seconds is 11 days. You spend $1 million. If you spend $1 a second, it will take you 11 days. 1 billion is 31 years. The difference between 11 days in jail and 31 years in jail. That is the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. And they've stolen $3 trillion. You know what's a trillion? A trillion is 1,000 billion. In the scheme of things, we're still talking seconds. 1 trillion seconds is 31,900 years. Put in perspective. 1 trillion years ago, dinosaurs wasn't running yet. Trillion. That's what we're talking about. That's the kind of money. That's the kind of money that passed through this country. And we sit down and we accept foolishness. We watch a prime minister lie to the nation, stand up on national television and broadcast using public funds to pay for a 2-part distraction sideshow, and still put his foot in his mouth. Give you a graph. He tell you for every $100 we spend, $10 goes towards, I forget what the first $10, debt payment. $50 goes towards wages, salaries, and pensions. $9 goes towards social services. And next $10 goes towards infrastructure. And $13 goes towards other. Now, infrastructure, $140 million a day. So that is the money that builds hospitals and highways. So we're spending more money than we spend on infrastructure on a word called other. And not one person, not one economist, not one journalist asked, Mr. Prime Minister, could you explain to us what makes up other? The only thing bigger than other on your graph is salaries, wages, and pensions. And we're coming back to that. But if debt payment and infrastructure pales to other, what, pray tell, could make that magic $13 out of every $100 in every daily $140 million that we spend? What is that? What items go there? Where does that money go? Let's come back to the $50. While you're ruminating on that, while you have your boys in the back room spinning that, while Cho Chong and Con saying, shit, that man see that boy. Call Faris quick, we need an answer, we need a lie. While they're doing that, tell us, why is pensions, which is a measly $3,000 a month, paid to about 30,000 people, why is that in a 50% of the dollar spent every day? Why do you put that there and not together with the $9 that is social service? Why? Why didn't you do that? It can't be THA Kadim Khan Jr. THA gets $4.5 billion a year. That and the $13 that make up other. He lied. Come back to this. Why didn't you take pensions and put it with social service? Because it's a social service. Salaries and wages. Those are critical numbers. In any business, there is a cost of doing business, and salaries and wages is a line item. A line item in a cost of doing business. If at the end of the business cycle, you spend 50% of your money in salaries and wages, what did that bring in return? What did it go to bring? Because you can't spend 50 cents on every dollar on salaries and wages. You didn't call it handouts. You didn't call it social services. You call it salaries and wages. And we need to know, Keith Rowley, even though the media are not asking you, even though they have no state official anyway that takes their job seriously, have respect and love enough for their country, that they would ask you, if you're spending 50 cents on every dollar of expenditure on salaries and wages, what are we getting for that? What are we getting for that? Because you see, and this is where Trinidad and Tobago needs to take itself seriously. The people of this country needs to wake up to their reality. Because if they go with Petrotrin, they go with TSTT, they go with WASA, they go with TNT, and they go with the port, they have nothing else. And tomorrow, and every other tomorrow, your choice would be to work for the contract mafia, the 1%, or do nothing at all. Like the people in Tobago, when the THA was sent there to put shackle on the hand, the foot, and the mind, the people in Tobago didn't know that the Tobago House of Assembly that blocked the Calcutta ship was bringing a slave ship. They'd bring back the good ship Jesus. That was the name of the ship. The first slave ship was blessed in London. The good ship Jesus. They bring back the good slave ship Jesus for you. Because in Tobago, Trinidad watch Tobagonians get beaten to the ground, bloody. And we say, oh, look at you. Look, oh God, you're hurting now. Oh, I can't watch no more. I watch people with 25 and 30-year-old business that suffer through recession and couldn't survive Keith Rowley's disgusting government. Couldn't survive the madness of the assault on Tobago that was intended to do one thing: cripple to collapse every independent business, make them all dependent on sandals in some way. Full circle. Eric Williams say Massa Day done. Rowley say Massa Day start back. Eric Williams say they will not be hewers of water and hewers of wood and drawers of water. And Rowley say, but that is all they good for. That is all Tobago. That's what Rowley say. Rowley say that is all Tobagonian good for. And the entire country, all the political leaders of every party, the media, and no state official question the Prime Minister. We get distracted by tomfoolery. We take him to task over his dress code and his behavior, which, as reprehensible as they can be, is never the issue. And we have to learn to see past the bullshit. And I know that some of you, when you hear that word bullshit, you just have to run to the church and throw holy water on your head, or go and put milk by your statue, because Philip using obscene language, but you're bullshitting in the yard. And bullshit is what this government has given you night and day. And we have accepted it. People want and telling me, come and talk to the people like Obama. 5 o'clock this morning, my phone rang. 5 o'clock. I forget to turn off the ringer. 5 o'clock this morning, my phone ring, and I hope you're watching Uncle from Tobago. An old man, you could hear, you know when a man getting old and he started to lose his voice. He cried on the phone. He said, I can't believe you exist. This man from Tobago, he tell me, I can't believe you exist, and I can't believe you saying the things you're saying, and I need to come and meet with you. I want to tell you, I celebrate this party. I say, Uncle, you know you could have waited till the sunrise to celebrate, and I celebrate with you. Trinidadians are waking up, and the UNC panic that we make them irrelevant. They send in their little pipsqueaks, and are telling PEP members, I saying it again, if they're attacking PEP, leave them. Nobody taking them on. Leave them with the 6 followers. It's when 200 and 300 PEP members go to defend PEP in that bullshit, it is make them look and feel relevant. Leave them. Leave them. Let them throw the tantrums. Let them try. You see, what a lot of them realize is they could use PEP to make themselves sound relevant to the UNC to go and link up. Don't let them use we. Let them deflate and go their way. Don't bark at every passing car. That is our level up for 2019. Real change. If you see them arguing with me, watch who they are attracting. Watch who they are attracting. When you see 10 different people posting negative about PEP, 10 different UNC trolls post something negative about PEP, go and see the 20 people that talk to all 10. It's the same crowd. It's the same maxi taxi full of fake profiles. Leave them. Leave them. Forget them now. Our mission is to build a real political vehicle for all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Our mission now is to focus on getting everybody registered to vote. Our mission, our overseas peppers, your mission is to get in touch with the Jimmy Carter Foundation and beg them to come here and supervise the next election from the EBC go back. That's where we need to be focused. Let us organize the nation. Those of you who have time and energy, message Shari Wilson, call on the phone. She's the party organizer. She and her deputy chair, Michelle Davis, their hands full. They need you on the ground in your community. If you have time to fight and argue, fight for something good. Fight for a better tomorrow. Forget them. They're the past. They've stolen $3 trillion. If people don't understand that when they say your government thief less than their government, you're still talking about defending thieves. You're still defending criminals. You're still defending crooks. You could be a lesser thief and a lesser crook, but you're still a thief and a crook. How does that help you to support that for your country? You're better off cutting off your voting finger. How does it help you to know that the people that you support are criminals, crooks, and thieves, and you're okay with that? And to the people who do nothing, who just sit on the sideline and vent, who have a choreography for every dance. You know how to say, how to speak, how to talk, what I should focus on, what I should give my attention to. You know all of that. But you ain't getting no money. You ain't voting for nobody. What is the point of you? Sideline coach? We don't need more sideline coach. We need more players on the field. If you want to be relevant, be relevant. Be relevant to the conversation. Your ship sinking too. Half a ship can't sink. You going to wake up in a country like the people of today. We send this jackass Moses to Venezuela to sit with Maduro. Look what Trump put out. Today, the United States condemns Maduro's illegitimate usurpation of power today following the unfree and unfair elections he imposed on the Venezuelan people on May 20th, 2018. The United States remains steadfast in its support of the Venezuelan people and will continue to use the full weight of U.S. economic and diplomatic power to press for the restoration of Venezuelan democracy. This jackass keep Christopher Mugabe Sagaroli, who looking to suck any nipple that will give him some milk, gone by Maduro, looking to get his Bamsi grease so that he can retire wherever it is he have his money bank. You see, these sons of bitches don't see their future as a Trinidad future, you know. Them, the lawyers, what Wendell Warren and Treat Canal call the vampire system. Them sucking it dry to go, you know. Them children done living outside. Them have nothing for Trinidad, you know. Them here as long as they could suck and eat. This jackass, take we, send your... Send your Minister of Foreign Affairs to congratulate a usurper of power. We operate in America backyard. That's where we operate. We operate in America backyard. And that jackass in America will do what he needs to do. And Trinidad is barely collateral damage. An island off the coast of Venezuela, they will refer to us on CNN, was also evaporated in the assault. Because they're not going to put up with that much longer. They're not going to put up with Iran and Russia sending forces in Venezuela. America is not going to put up with that. So they're going to address that. And all of Venezuela's allies will have questions to answer. Who told this jackass, put we in that? You ever hear cockroach have no place in foul business? Who tell him, put we in that? You know what they want? They want to run pipeline into that gas field that Maduro thieving from his people so they could help him thief. Trinidad government and the contract mafia want to drive Maduro getaway car. That's what we're doing. We want to build a pipeline, an illegal pipeline, and tap into the Venezuelan people. You see, they're comfortable. They finished thief out Trinidad. Then done reaching Guyana and Venezuela to try and thief there too. So we want to drive Maduro getaway car. We want to thief the people natural resources and sell it and split up the money. Trinidad and Tobago has found itself at the nexus, ground zero of a looming coming storm that we are set up to take. Now, when the food shortage come and the blackouts and the no internet and your phone can't work and they have no food in Hilo and the amalgamated 2 security guards outside Massey door letting in 4 people at a time, show them your US as you're passing. When them days come, don't look around to say, hey, let me fix it now. Let me fix it now. Because then, too late shall be the cry. So if you voted for shit snakes and get shit, you get what you vote for. We tell you, the Progressive Empowerment Party, very clear on all of our policies. This jackass, that's the Pande, all over the place. You could stop Pande by the corner and ask him for a drop he telling you about constitutional reform. Ask him to enunciate it. Ask him to tell you what that means. Ask all his little peddlers. God Christopher now is the latest one. Talking about campaign finance reform. And then he mentioned it on his wall. I'm not sending you to look for God Christopher. He make himself irrelevant already. The PNM fire him, the UNC don't want him, and the outside they're making a set of old noise. So we're talking about campaign finance reform, God Christopher. The next time you post it, because I see Kendall Baggy and the rest of them straighten you out. The only political party that gave a timeline for recall, referendum, and campaign finance reform is the Progressive Empowerment Party. We've said again and again, and I will say it again, our legislative agenda is day one, Parliament 1. And we ask 50,000 people, 50,000 Trinidadians, come outside the Parliament, your Parliament. We that serious. We that serious. We say, if you put us in government, our first day, we will convene the Parliament. And we will not come out of the Parliament until recall is law. That means our first act is to give you the ability to fire us if we fail to deliver, and every other government to come. Immediately the power of the Parliament becomes the property of the people again. Because the problem with Rowley and the rest of these shit snakes is you can't fire them. You have to sit down and watch the dregs and the dinosaurs pelt feces at each other across the aisle in that Parliament. You thief more, your mother's a whore, your father ugly. And that's what you putting up with on the Parliament channel. Brought to you by, and pretending that somehow we civilized. We're not. We're not. Turn it on and listen. Nothing being debated is of any substance or value to the average person in Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing. Nothing is giving you back spending power. Nothing is giving you back political power. Nothing is giving you back the opportunity to own a home. Nothing is bringing the cost of food down, fixing schools, fixing healthcare. Nothing is fixing traffic. All of it is bullshit. All of it is a waste of time. All of it is distraction while they thief and thief and thief. And we want to say thief from thief does make God laugh. We keep voting two thief into office and God stoops and walk away. This country in trouble. We in real trouble. We are going to become an example to the rest of the world about how you take the most blessed land on planet Earth and turn it into a pile of shit. I have never been in this for friends. Never. I have never been in this for myself, for a work, for a job, for a shortcut, for a contract, for a blue light, for girls. I'm not in this for none of that. I don't even want to be in this. You hear how straight I talk? I tell you, kiss my ass if you don't like me. You hear how straight I talk? I talk this straight for a reason. I want you to understand. I will never be a hypocrite. What I tell you, that is how I know it to be and nothing else. I watch a man today defend Keith Rowley on a trend. Richard Board put up a post, call out Rowley. And a man come and defend Rowley and then he tell him, but partner, you only doing that because you getting contracts under PNM. You're not defending Rowley because you're running the country properly. You're defending your wallet. You're defending your cash flow. This is a country in bad need of a jarring, a political detox, a cleansing. That's what we need. Wayne Sturge wrote this today. I would normally rail invectives at anyone who suggests that our policies must always be in sync with the US or other imperial power. But for Dennis Moses to appear at the inauguration of Maduro, it says something about our leadership. And for us to remain quiet about it or raising strong objections or passionately voicing our disapproval shows how weak we are as a people. Rowley's alliance with Maduro does not bode well for anyone outside the Rowley circle. Don't be surprised if we are either lured or forced into a quagmire, which may involve not just the US but Vladimir Putin. This may very well be one of the most pressing issues to be dealt with, much more than a conversation with a vacuous PM or on any other national issue. Thankfully, Donald is so narrow-minded and single-focused about his wall that Russia and Iran can slowly cement a foothold here without an axis of evil speech followed by surgical strikes aimed at us as unwitting enablers of Maduro. Today, in the Trinidad Express, this is going on while you're distracted by bullshit. More than $400 million worth of shares was transferred by former Clico Investment Bank chairman Andre Montai back into the company. This is the guy who took his position as treasurer of the PNM and his position as chairman of the Home Mortgage Bank and his position as director of Clico Investment Bank, linked the tree and gave himself the opportunity to buy the Home Mortgage Bank with Clico money. And when they catch him, he say, oops, and put it back. More than $400 million worth of shares was transferred by former Clico Investment Bank chairman Andre Montai back into the company in exchange for it to negate a $78 million loan he had acquired to facilitate one of his own companies in 2007. Now, that piece of paper worthless. So if I give you back the piece of paper and you hold that and I keep the money, who win? I win. Who paying for the paper? Trinidadians. The claim was made yesterday when Montai continued his testimony at the Hall of Justice in Port of Spain in a multi-million-dollar trial brought against him by Clico Investment Bank. The company is seeking to recoup the borrowed money plus interest, a grand total of approximately $110 million. It's funny how Clico knew that it should get interest on its money, but Clico that owing us $25 billion that now owes us, stands to owe us $22 billion in interest, ain't talking about that. Under cross-examination by CIB's attorney, Montai said he and CL Financial's former executive chairman, Lawrence Dupre, struck a deal that if he were to transfer the shares back into the company, he would not have to repay the loan. CIB was placed in compulsory liquidation in October 2011, with the deposit insurance company being appointed as liquidator. This is a country where if you don't pay attention, they will thief your best intention. Milk and sugar out of coffee already gone. They've become predators in paradise. That's how Time magazine described us, the banking sector especially. And we're sitting back and we're not understanding that that $110 million are our money. $41 million that they pick up and they give to Tamnakta and Apsara, our money. $25 billion, $25 billion. A billion is 31 years. That is 900 years. 900 years worth of money they pick up and give them to cover Clico while the dish run away with the spoon. Your money, my money, gone. And these jackasses now playing, look the graph. Let me talk about where the money gone. The money gone $25 billion to Clico. The money gone $10 billion to Malcolm Jones and Ken Julian and Conrad Enel. Put all of them on a stand. The money gone in theft. The money gone in fake contracts. The money gone in paying for unnecessary contracts. The money gone in that 50% of every dollar we spend that's spending on bloat that we don't need. The money gone when you and Kamala and people in the PNM and the UNC keep appointing friends and family and cousins and children and whoever you're bullying and you're brushing into vice presidential positions in every company that is a state company, all of them hemorrhaging and losing money. That's where the money gone. And that's what has to change. We, the people of Trinidad, cannot continue to accept bullshit accounting. You can't hear a government tell you that we've mismanaged the economy. There is no money to put in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, so we will borrow money and put it in the Heritage, and that's borrowing money to save. The banks laugh at that. But if that wasn't worse, that money that we paid interest on, that we borrowed to save, the next government come along and take the interest it generate for itself. So it costs us money twice. And both of them trying to justify their actions, mismanaging an economy that should not only be balanced, it should be booming. But we can't, because they have no time to work for the people. They have 5 years to thief, and it sounds like a lot of time. But it takes a lot of time to properly thief. Asian thieves say, when you're thieving, thief legal fees too. Because you're going to have to defend your right to thief in court. So you're going to have to pay them big shot lawyers. Thief their fees too. Thief QC and SC money. And not one of them who have ever come to power have taken the responsibility of having the courage of the convictions and to defend their word, what they campaigned on. And people still playing hair texture and skin color is a reason to vote. It never helped you before. Every time a government has changed, the future of your children got bleaker. Every time. Every time. Every time it happened. It never benefited you. Now, Kamala, who led a raid on the parliament of the government of the 2015, all of a sudden, she had the answers again. So you're voting UNC to take out PNM and you're voting PNM to take out UNC and UNC is the answer again?
Vote for we and we will set you free. Anywhere you turn, somebody chanting the we. Somebody promising jobs for all. Some renting come to make other people fall. But somebody promising more police cars.
Somebody gonna take the country far.
Somebody putting all the
Bandits away, they say if you do the crime, you're going to damn well pay.
But somebody promising the human rights.
And somebody promising to put out your lights.
The laundry full with little Trinidad boys. A police start to wait and put an end to the joy. Now they're lying cold for their mama to mourn.
Voters,
Keep going, they go on deep down, you see
they want their pocket full with blue silk. They want the statue drinking full cream milk.
the little red silk is not their true friend.
The blue one have to extra note on the end.
So a tag on the toes, now they take it to hell. But look where we reach, I hear a bad man born. As he spread out on the wall, he said,
This is it, this is it, this is it.
I've been hit.
No time to give up, brother, no time to quit. And that's our truth. Because unless you have an escape plan, unless you have money outside, unless you have an opportunity to go and meet your grandkids and your loved ones somewhere, if for any reason your future is tied to this country, then I strongly suggest that you wake the hell up or practice dustbin diving looking for dinner, because that is going to become our future. That is our reality. Nothing is going to change. When the embargo that is driving Venezuela to ruin is spread to include Venezuela's allies, I hope you know 1%ers who will fling some of their ill-gotten gains, food that they're storing up for just such an occasion, hope they will fling some over the wall for you. You want to hear good news? Good news is, vote for the Progressive Empowerment Party and we will secure the borders and stop the drug trade first of all. We will stop the flow of illegal guns that helps and aids and abets the criminal, violent murder, the blood running in the streets. 500 murders a year. They need guns to do that. We will stop that by securing the nation's borders. Kamala know this country is a narcotics pipeline, but Kamala didn't secure the borders. All you ask, she why? God Christopher, you're playing, you're asking questions. God Christopher asked Kamala Prasad Bisesa why she didn't, 5 years and 6 months in government, why she didn't secure the nation's borders and end the flow of drugs. Somebody ask Rowley, where's the graph? Where's the pie charts for securing the borders and stopping the flow of cocaine through Trinidad and Tobago? Rowley, where is that chart? Where's that graph? Because you see, when all you start to ask back questions is when they will stop stunting and trying to bullshit you. That sideshow was an exercise in bullshitocracy. He said, at no time during this trick will my fingers leave my hand. And all you clap. Massa bull, massa cow nonsense, all you clap. Ask Pandey, ask Manning, dig him up and ask him. Why you didn't secure the borders? We knew since the 80s Trinidad and Tobago was a narcotics pipeline. Why? Why didn't you secure the borders? Why? Why didn't you secure the borders, Kamala, and stop the importation of dirty US dollars for laundering through state contracts? Why? Why? Ask Keith Rowley, where's the graph on the chart for National Lotteries Control Board that is being used as a money laundering enterprise? Where's the graph and the pie charts for that? And Kamala know that too. She want to debate. Are you debating NLCB, Kamala? Because I know what you know about NLCB. So let me put that on the debate. Let's talk that. Let's ask for the chart and the graph to get water for all, because it's simple. It takes 35,000 people to make up a constituency. If you give each constituency the right to its own water sourcing, its own water storage, its own water purification, its own water distribution. They have micro water companies right now that you could set up 41 in one in each constituency and just identify rainwater retention, dams, wells, desalination, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Source your own water and distribute it 24/7. Yes, ask them. Well done. Thank you, Michael Lovell. Ask Kamala, ask Keith, where the money from the pitch lake. Show us the graphs for that. Debate that. Stop bullshitting the people. We have a lot of things we want to know. We want to know, why does Amalgamated Security Services still have a contract to drive prisoners through town, through traffic, morning and evening, when we will say spend pennies on the dollar to build the jails outside the courthouse and cancel that wasteful, unnecessary contract? Why does it still exist, Keith Rowley? Kamala, why didn't you deal with that? All of these things. You see, to all the sycophants and the trolls, attack me, no problem. Attack me bad. But at least have the decency and the self-respect to ask these blasted questions of your leader. Whoever your leader might be. Have that decency. Have that self-respect. Have love of country. Have the audacity of hope, as Obama called it, to want to stand up and demand better. Don't stop. Add your voice before it is too late. Before we are victims of our own apathy and racial foolishness. Thoughts and prayers to protect our borders. We're using thoughts and prayers to protect the students and the teachers in schools. You see, and I don't understand Why? We have to wait for a disaster to happen before something is properly done. This Saturday, we are doing a walkabout in San Fernando in preparation for next Saturday's launch of the South Regional Office. The 10 constituencies that make up the Southland is going to be handled through one regional office. All their sub-offices will answer to that regional office, controlled by the chair of the South region, Michelle Davis. That is happening next week, Saturday. We are also, at the same time, we're having a double celebration, the opening of our first regional office and the PEP's second anniversary. That is at 6 p.m. on Saturday, the 19th of January. All are invited. Come and be a part of it. This Saturday, we're walking about and giving out flyers. If you want to be a part of that, message Shari Wilson, message Felicia Holder, message Michelle Davis, or any of the South crew. This Saturday also, we meet in Stanmore Avenue at 2 p.m. headquarters. At 2 p.m. because after the walkabout, we're coming up to HQ. So if you want to be a part of that public meet and greet meeting that we have every Saturday, it's at 2 o'clock Saturday at headquarters. If you want to bring some cake and sandwiches, wherever to share, feel free. You don't have to bring nothing, walk with your hands swinging like a boxer. We share what we have. If you would like to be a part of any of the teams, reach out to the executive members, Felicia Holder, Sean Sunarine, Anthony Defoe, Richard Blaze, Shari Wilson, Misty Autumnday, that crew, Satish Ramsaran. We need help, financial donations. If you're in Canada, reach out to Anthony Sinanan. If you're in New York, reach out to Denise Xavier or the Birchwood brothers. Florida, that team is still building. I don't have the information about that. I think Japan Nathaniel is still heading up that. So if you're in Florida and you would like to donate, get involved. If you would like to just send your donation straight to Trinidad and Tobago, message Felicia or Satish. We have PayPal, we have a merchant account. We have a lot of ways that you can assist. We're doing the work, we're doing the work, we're doing the work, we're building your party for you. Trinidad and Tobago, we have one chance. And after all the talk and all the bullshit aside, after all of it, do not let us wake up post-2020 cursing that we let our one chance to fix this country go by in apathy, foolishness, falling for small talk. Watch the people who giving you the most talk, how they getting paid. Watch how they lining up themselves for their advantages. They may care about you and fixing themselves first. You have to get that way too. Demand a better Trinidad and Tobago. If the PNM failed and the UNC failed time and again, why would you put God out of your thoughts to go back to those same racist, tribal, divisive, corrupt abusers? Why? Why would you even entertain that? You have to be a glutton for punishment. Sadomasochist. Anyway, agreed. Teamwork makes the dream work. 347-4PEP. That's our hotline. peptrinbago@gmail.com. That's our primary email address. peptt.com. That's our website. There is a PEP app, PEP, APP. Donated from any app store. Our headquarters is 19 Stanmore Avenue, Port Spain. It's open to the public on Saturdays. Feel free to drop by. We're on the radio Mondays and Wednesdays, 104.7, 9 to noon. Myself and my co-host, my wingman, the guy that they say is too sexy for TV, so they put him on radio. Tony Defoe, Deputy Political Leader. Together we are a real good team. It's a real nice show. Mondays and Wednesdays on 104.7. We have real exciting guests and always interesting conversation. So, until I guess tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.